What's up, everyone? It's Snapper77. Today we're going to be going back and having a look at some of my beta testing that I was done with Luke Cage. I was one of the lucky ones who got to be selected to do beta testing. It was really kind of nice. They gave you 10,000 units. And it was 10,000 units to play around with. So I was able to, use all kinds of mastery adjustments and have all kinds of health pots and revives on demand. So it was kind of nice. With my Luke Cage beta testing, I went with the full suicide build with Resonate. I felt that this was a good, real good mastery setup to try and test them with. I also had Max Despair and Max Pacify, and that's about it for the masteries. I ran max boosts also because they didn't interfere with your in-game boosts, so I was able to use my max boosts and I really was trying to emulate what it would be like to play with a 455 Luke Cage. So I only have the 550 Luke Cage. It's kind of funny because I actually I had like 6 Science T4Cs in overflow, and I was like, I don't even have a science champ that I wanna rank up. They were about to expire, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna take Luke Cage to 550 as a joke, because it's he was always considered as one of those garbage champs. So I thought, why not take the garbage champ to 550 as a joke rather than let the Science T4C expire. As you seen in that clip there, that was we didn't get Wolverine down on that fight. His regen was I didn't get lucky on his regens, but you can see in the clip here he's able to contain Wolverine's regen pretty good. And once again, that's the reason why he can contain his regen, is because he's got all those debuffs going. With Despair, and with Max Despair, seven debuffs will put all regen to 0. So, and then plus I also had Pacify going, and what I was trying to do was keep his power levels down and use Pacify and Despair to contain his regen, and then with exhaust debuffs we get the heavy damage output. And I was able to take him down. I don't take him down in this clip. The next one I take him down, but I think it took me 6 or 7 tries to get it down. You gotta get a little bit of luck, and because those exhaust debuffs expire and he's got a couple regens going, you're in a lot of trouble. So you really want to be really aggressive with that. Now also you'll see I was using L3 spam. There's a little bit of a debate out there what's the best way to use Luke Cage now. The L3 is in my opinion the best way to use him. You get the most damage output with him. Every time he uses L3 he gets 4 exhaust debuffs, which is quite a bit, and usually you have a couple on there by the time you get there. So after he uses L3 he's usually got like 7 or 8 exhaust debuffs, and it's just like massive amounts of damage with once you get close to double-digit debuffs. The L1 spam is kind of okay. It's good in shorter fights, I guess, because you can use your exhaust debuffs, give them an increased chance on the stun. So you can put them on the wall, drop the L1, stun them, and then get right back into another L1 and stun them again, and then you don't have to worry about eating an L3 because he's got that indestructible. So if you don't get the stun lock and it's like, oh shit, what do I do? Oh, never mind, I got indestructible. So you just eat the L3 for no damage and then go back to work. So yeah, there's that way to use them too, but for end game content, I think the best way is use the L3 spam. It also works really good too if you have a suicide build, because Luke Cage is really good for a suicide build because he's got the bleed immunity. So yeah, the L3 won't take any recoil damage, which is real nice too. I think this clip I get him down. We got 5 debuffs there, or exhaust debuffs. And he's hitting for like, no crits there, it's hard to tell. 4,400 there with 3 debuffs. Yeah, so you can see he's really got some really good damage now. They really did a nice job on Luke Cage. I was very, very impressed. I actually think he's now maybe one of the top three or four science champs for sure. Yeah, and there's Winter Soldier, Wolverine, ROL Wolverine down by Luke Cage. This clip here was against Black Bolt. He just really chewed him up. It was, I think this match was done in like 138 hits or something, which was it's pretty good for Luke Cage. You know, you never would have thought Luke Cage would take anybody down in ROL in 138 hits. His L2, let's talk about his L2 here for a minute. I don't really like his L2. It has a concussion, which is a very nice thing, but the problem with his L2 is it consumes all of his exhaust debuffs, so you lose all your damage output in order to get the concussion, which is kind of, you know, the things that you would use concussion to bypass would be something like an arc overload or some sort of regen or whatever. But with Luke Cage, he doesn't really need to worry about that because, you know, everyone's usually got at least 1 point to spare, and you know, Cage stacks up exhaust debuffs. He's gonna contain the regen pretty well anyways for the most part, so better to keep the damage output, I feel, and you know, either go with the L3 spam or the L1 spam for shorter matches. What else is good about the Cage? His indestructible. Now you see there, I took that for no damage. Indestructible kicked in. It's now it can be used more than once per match. So it's got a refresh timer of 26 seconds, which is really pretty. A lot of people think, oh well, 26 seconds, that's not a lot of time. But when you think about how many mistakes do you usually make in the average fight? Most fights are typically, you know, a minute and a half, and most people typically might make 1 mistake or 2 mistakes at the most in a match. So it really gives you a nice little bit of a buffer zone. You know, halfway through a match, you make a mistake and take no damage, and then you know, you got 26 seconds to play with to have some clean fighting, and then you can take another one on the chin. Also, you can use his indestructible in a lot of other ways too. He situations like, say if you're facing Iceman, you can come out and purposely get hit off the opening hit. Oh, here's against Maestro. You'll get to see it on the next clip there that he gets he bypasses a good chunk of the degen from his L1 with indestructible. It's one of those things, you know, you can, normally his L1 would kill you from the degen, but indestructible takes quite a chunk off of it. You can use that against Iceman as well too. You can purposely get hit at the beginning of the fight, and you know, you'll get 2.5 seconds of no cold snap damage, which is quite a bit. In if he's got a real high attack, it could be the difference of for surviving the cold snap or not. Yeah, this was a really cool match. There's no way I would have thought he'd ever be able to take down Maestro, but there it is. Oh, that's one more quick clip coming up here, and that's the end of my clips for Luke Cage, and I really feel they did a really wonderful job with him, and it's very good to see Luke Cage. Science needed it, a buff champ, and he's for sure fits the bill now. If I got myself a Luke Cage, I'd be pretty excited, and you know, he's worthy of 455 for sure. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.